Last one I have. What has been your favorite fight that you have been in? There's a lot. It's 29 professional ones.
Yeah, I'd have to go with the fastest knockout in flyweight history, for sure. Because I looked up like there was more people coming in.
Yeah.
You know, like,
At 125 and 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Franklin, Tennessee, presenting the number 10 ranked flyweight contender in the world, Dustin Ortiz.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Knuckle Sandwich. Today I'm joined by UFC veteran, Nashville MMA coach, and bull rider, Dustin Ortiz. I've been doing my digging, man. How's it going?
good. How about you?
I'm great, man. Appreciate you sitting down with us. Obviously, we've got some things to talk about today.
Talk about them.
Yeah, let's do it. So, very first, I want to talk about UFC veteran, flyweight contender. What was the UFC experience like? Really, I want to just talk about the broad spectrum first.
Okay. In what aspect? I mean, it was like fighting.
Yeah.
It's like fighting at the highest level in front of the most amount of people possible. So.
Was there a bunch of nerves instilled there? Did it feel any different than a small show whenever you're on the big stage? Because a lot of times I hear people say they can drown out the noise, the crowd's not even there, those kind of things. But I want to look at it from a fighter perspective. Man,
it's to me it was all the same. It was all the same. I was focused on winning. The crowd takes care of itself. The intensity or the intensity and the outcome, the fight itself, it's always going to be an intense situation.
Yeah.
When you're fist fighting and you're throwing punches at each other, it doesn't matter the crowd. It could be out in the street.
Yeah.
You know, the intensity and the craziness is going to be there.
Fair.
Yeah.
You have some huge wins, ones that have really aged very well, in my opinion. Alexandre Pantoja, Nicolau. I mean, you fought Brandon Moreno back in the day. What was it like fighting those guys? Because I have another question loaded right here, but I just kind of want to hear, against those guys, hearing those names now, how does that make you feel having wins over those kind of guys?
Yeah, I don't really feel any type of way, to be honest. It was like from being drawn away from that scene in the UFC, it's like I accept that time for what it was.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Everybody is developing at different rates. There's new fighters coming in. It's definitely cool to look back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I beat that guy. Yeah. But that was its time and place right now, or back then. Yeah. So right now it's like what gets me going is like, well, what about now? Right. So that's a question that excites me more than looking back on it. And some of the fighters are like, man, you beat this guy, or seeing random people and they're like, oh, you got to win over. Yeah, that was the time and place, right? But what about now? You know, and that's my question that I like to think on and play with. Yeah.
A lot of your guys have a lot of belief because there was a post going around on social media. You knew I was going to ask it. With you cropped in versus Pantoja for 301 and saying this is the fight to make.
Yeah.
And you had posted on your story and you said this is the easiest time to be a champion in the flyweight division. I bring my facts. You told me bring my facts.
I appreciate it.
But you also said that you could beat the top 10 like no problem right now.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say with no problem. Do I think that? Of course.
Sure.
But I said on any given night.
Day, that's right.
Any given day, any given night. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at me. I stay in shape year round. That's just who I am. As a person, I enjoy being in shape. I enjoy coming in here and training with these guys and pushing them to their highest level, right, of where they're at right now. And I do believe for sure you throw me back in the UFC, I could compete and beat anybody in the top 10. And the division hasn't been in there as long as the heavyweight, you know what I mean? Right. So the 35 and 25 division, besides the women's, was the last to come, right? So as far as history has been, the champions have been just dominant. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not that Pantoja is not dominant right now, but the guys that he's fighting, in my opinion, are not at the level that they were when I was in there,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So and it's not just me, you know, there's Wilson Hayes, there's a lot of other guys, Jussier Formiga. These guys could come back and still compete at that top 10 level, in my opinion. John Moraga, these are all top 10 guys that were there when I was there that I don't know their backstory on it, but were released, fought out their contract during that time. They could easily come back and compete with these guys still.
Yeah. Do we think we could ever see Dustin Ortiz back in the UFC?
Oh, absolutely. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
So you're not officially
a guy that
retired,
can go ride
right?
bulls and come back, for sure. Yeah, that's what people like to see these days. You know, unfortunately, it's not the best man for the job.
Sure.
It's the guy who chirps the loudest.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that if I were to start doing that, then create a little bit of excitement. Yeah, you could see me back in there for sure.
Fair enough. Is that something you want to do?
Yeah, I'm open to anything that's, you know, dangerous and exciting.
I would say if you can ride
For
bulls,
sure.
you can get back in the UFC.
For sure.
That's
yeah,
fair.
Yeah. That's you know, a couple of fighters in the current UFC when I posted that, because if I didn't share the post, I would hear from these guys,
100%.
you know, to the end of time, right? And so, and I haven't been active on social media, and that's a big part of it too. You got to be active. You got to be in there. You got to be a draw, right? It's a business at the end of the day, and I'm not playing that part of the game right now. So to get back in, I feel like that's definitely something you got to start doing.
For sure.
And so I played it a little bit, and it's funny, the DMs that I got, like people that are still in the UFC fighting, and they're like, dude, I would much rather see this fight than the fight that's happening.
Yeah.
You know, so there's something there,
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Well, let's switch a little bit of the mindset over to coaching now, right? Like you're here at Nashville MMA, you're the head coach over here at Nashville MMA. What has that experience been like, number one, like the transformation from fighter to coach?
Yeah. I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out. I do, how would I train? And that's what I'm getting these guys to do, right? And during my time of fighting, this is all I did. This is all I thought about. I felt like I had to work extra hard to get to the level that I was at, you know? And so I have to instill that in these guys to be a normal thing, to want to come in here every single day, especially when they don't want to, right? So it's just instilling mindset, work ethic, how they're carrying themselves inside the gym, outside the gym. I know how to do that for myself, and now the fun part is learning how to get other guys to do that. And then you have to approach it from a different aspect for each guy, because everybody learns visually, physically, different ways, right? So that's been a fun learning experience just as a person of how to coach certain individuals, right? People pick things up differently. And how do I want to do that? How can I do that to this individual the way that I want him to do it? But to complement his style, because I'm not trying to teach everybody. One of my best coaches, wrestling coaches, he wasn't teaching the heavyweights how to do low single legs, low double. That was kind of unrealistic, right? So every guy is different to their style, and that's been the biggest learning experience on how to do that. How to get my results that I'm looking for is obviously to win in a dominant fashion, push pace on them, but in their style.
Fair. Well, I would say you're definitely raising up some killers here. You got Andrew Stewart, Dedrick Sanders, Bryce Warner. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on. Talk to me a little bit about some of these guys that do you feel like they are able or even close to making that next step up like you had did?
Yeah, they're getting there. It's time. It's a marathon, not a sprint, so to speak. You know, and that's what I'm trying to get these guys to realize, because you know, you've got a guy like Bryce, 20 years old. You know, if I'm like, you're so good right now, you got to get in there, and then he gets in there and then chewed up, spit out, that's no good. You know, so as a coach and somebody who's been there, done that, and then even watching some of these guys in the UFC, like I know how it works, you know. UFC doesn't call you up and it's like, hey, you know, we got this guy for you. We want to give you an 8-week camp. That's not how it happens, right? They call you like, hey, we got this guy, you want it or not? It's in 2 weeks, right? So that's kind of part of teaching these guys to kind of be ready at all times in the long haul, right? if I burn these guys out too fast, then it's not fun for anybody, you know? So it's exciting. It's exciting, but it's all in time. All in due time, it'll happen.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What for you makes Nashville MMA the best gym in Tennessee or whatever in your eyes? What makes it?
Me? No, it's just the community that we're building. So I'm new here, right? I've been here, I think, a year now.
Yeah.
And so just coming in and being happy to be here and making sure that these guys are happy to be here and creating like a brotherhood amongst the fighters. And then other people that come here just to train for fun after they worked all day, they're coming in and take jiu-jitsu. They see that, and then they are saying hi. They're getting to know these people. They get to see them fight, and they're like, "Oh, I know that guy. I talked to him." Like, so just building something that people want to be a part of.
Yeah.
I work here. I'm here every single day, so I want to enjoy the place that I have to go to every single day.
Fair enough.
So that's the best part about being here. It's just help building, because it's not all me. We have great coaches here. Ronnie Lawrence, another high level, was in the UFC, high level fighter, and then other coaches here that just are coming together and building something that's like fun.
Fair. Speaking of fun, you got to talk to me about bull riding. What in the world made you decide? What made you decide you want to go be part of the Nashville Stampede and be a world champion bull riding team, huh?
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking. I can't be held responsible for things I do and or say.
Fair.
Okay, so it's just like, it's a long story. Long story short, I met some guys. They were crazy enough to see what I was wanting to do. And they're like, if you're crazy enough, I'm crazy enough, let's do it type of deal, right? And right place, right time with the crazy idea. I was training out in Colorado, Elevation Fight Team, and I was driving down to the PBR Performance Center to do strength and conditioning with the coach that was there. And just jokingly, I was like, hey, get me on a bull, man, right? Like, let me get on. He's like, no, absolutely not. These guys are crazy. Once you're done fighting, then we'll get you right, get the right bull, right people. Because you could go, right up the road
100%.
and get on, they'll hand you a beer, chug that, and then we got you a bull lined up. So he's like, instead of doing that, we'll get it professional. And then they did their first ever combine, because they were starting the team series. So very individualized sport. Now they have teams, first ever. He's like, I want you to come down and do this. And I thought I was going down, shake hands, meet, greet, to these professional bull riders. And he's like, no, you're partaking. You're trying out for this combine. And I was like, well, okay, sure. I got my shorts and stuff, so I'm down. And next thing you know, I'm like competing with these guys. I get on 6 bulls in 3 days. I've never been more sore in my life.
Oh, I'm sure.
I thought I needed like a little, walk-in. They're like, you got one more tomorrow. And I was like, dude, I don't think I can even look at one at this point, But that first one, being back there, putting on chaps, putting on a helmet, putting on your glove, seeing your bull go next, and then you're up. It was just it's so similar to fighting.
I was about to ask, does that relate at all?
Anticipation, and because in fighting you see like this fight just got done, and then 1, 2, 3 more fights, and then I'm up. Oh, that one was a quick finish. Oh, I'm up faster than I thought, right? So that anticipation is just like bull riding. You see 4 more bulls, and then your bull. You got to go put your rope on it, and you're just like, talking to him like, I'm about to beat your so, that's what other guys were doing. They're like measuring their bull. I'm kind of like, hey, it's just you and me, go easy, But it was, the build up and then getting on. And then honestly, I just like, as soon as I got on, and they're like, you ready? So it's like the guy opening the gate is kind of like the ref, like, you ready? The bull's for sure ready. And I'm like, I think. They opened the gate, and I like black out pretty much because it happened so fast. And he just, I pictured a PBR bull just going crazy. He was just like this little jumper, you know? So he went out, jumped, went left. I kept going straight, fell off, jumped onto the cage. And because it was a thing, there was a camera right there. And I just I fell in love right away.
Yeah.
Like my heart was beating. I was like, I could do better.
Yeah.
Like that was my first thing. It was like, I got to go again. And that's kind of just what it started it all. And I was like, I can get better at this. Yeah, I got 8 seconds, not on a ranked bull, but like a practice bull. Yeah, I got an 8 seconds handful of times. Yeah.
The other question, Dana White's got a bull now.
Yeah.
Twisted Steel.
Yeah.
When are we gonna see Dustin Ortiz versus Twisted? We got Donald Cerrone versus Twisted Steel.
Yeah.
When's
I'll
Dustin
take him
Ortiz?
after Cerrone gets. I mean,
That's a big old bull.
That's a big old bull. It's a ranked bull.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I saw that, Cerrone's confidence level was up here.
Yeah.
And I've been keeping up with it because I've been there, done that, right? And his videos, his confidence is getting a little lower. So I hope the best for the guy for sure.
Yeah.
But man, when you're getting on a 2,000-pound bull that professional bull riders haven't even been able to cover much.
Yeah.
You're in over your head. You're in over your head. And I just hope that he gets out of there injury free, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say on that.
Fair enough.
I mean, these bulls it's the intensity and the stakes are so high. You can't, in fighting, you can move, You can stop things, you can check, you can block.
Right.
You can't check or block none of the movements that are happening, no matter the effort behind it, So I tell people, in fighting, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. In bull riding, you're always the nail. You're always the nail.
I got some rapid fire questions for you, Dustin.
Okay.
This has been an amazing interview so far. This is probably one of my favorites. But rapid fire is one of the favorite parts of the interview that I ever do. So I've got some questions loaded up. Just give me first answer to top of the head, okay? What's your biggest hype song? What's your biggest build-up song for either bull riding or for fighting?
Johnny Cash, God's Gonna Cut You Down.
Nice.
Yeah, I came out. Do I have to be super fast too?
Go ahead.
Okay. I came out to that in Nashville against Willie Gates, and it got just such a response. My manager's like, man, you got to keep that song. And I was like, it's done. So I can't even listen to it while I'm driving because then I'm passing people. I'm, on the interstate racing regular people. It's no good.
Would you ever wear a cutoff during training? I know it's not your favorite, but Stewie's been trying to talk you into it.
Absolutely not.
Not a cutoff.
I passed a guy, and I almost had to roll down my window and say something the other day. I thought of Stewie about it. I was like, this guy's walking down the road with his belly just kind of out.
Yeah.
It's like, if that's his style,
Fair.
I'm not hanging out with him.
Fair enough. All right. Ooh, that one got me. All right, let's see. Favorite fighter on the UFC roster right now? I know you still keep up with it, so.
Can I be honest?
None of them.
No, I don't keep up with it that much.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really have a favorite fighter right now.
So my next question is Mount Rushmore.
Bubble, but
No, that's all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Top 4 all time then. Let's go all the way back.
Demetrius Johnson.
Okay.
I'll try to go from lightest up.
Okay.
Demetrius Johnson. Ooh. Can I do ties?
No. Top 4. Top 4.
Demetrius Johnson, George St. Pierre,
Okay.
Anderson Silva, John Jones.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Last one I have. What has been your favorite fight that you have been in? There's a lot. It's 29 professional ones.
Yeah. I'd have to go with the fastest knockout in flyweight history, for sure. Because I looked up like there was more people coming in.
Yeah.
It was very. So what happens is after the fights, I don't know if they still do this. It's been a while since I've been to a UFC fight, but after you fight, you go back into the green room.
Okay.
Right? Winners, losers, whatever. They have food for you. You get to watch the fights going on. And if you just lost, you're kind of just like, right? And then if you had a knockout, drag out, you're back there just trying to relax, But if you're one of those guys that got a fast knockout, you're like hyped up, adrenaline. Yeah, you're in a good mood. and you're that guy who either lost or had a rough fight, and you look at that dude who just had a fast knockout, and you're like, right? Like, yeah, I hate that. I want that, right?
Yeah.
So eventually I was that guy, right? Got the fastest knockout, and I was back there all happy, and I was thinking about that. I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah, that would be because you work so hard for the fight itself, and then for it to happen like that, you're just like, dang, thank you. Like that was nice. That was nice. That's probably my favorite fight.
Does that record still stand?
It still stands, yeah. I think they recorded it at 15, and then they had a guy, I believe, was like 17 or something like that.
Man.
Yeah, so he was
Close.
close, but
Not close enough.
didn't stay chopping. Didn't stay chopping.
Dustin, if you have any shout outs or anything, this camera right here is yours.
Yeah.
You got any shout outs or anything like that?
Man, shout out to you guys. I appreciate the interview. Yeah, shout out to Nashville MMA for giving me this opportunity to coach the guys and create a good team here with high-level fighters.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time so much. It's been an amazing interview. Dustin Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yes, sir.